Ready?
There you go.
What's up, dudes?
What's up, guys?
In Western Oregon.
Welcome to a brand new MMA Roasted Podcast. It's me, Adam Hunter. We have the legend, Chael Sonnen here. We have Weendog. We got Tyler Smith, the Marine. Mayhem should be joining us soon. This is going to be awesome. Thank you, Speedweed, for sponsoring the show. Marijuana is legal in California. Get it delivered right to you, especially now during the quarantine. Their business is booming right now. Don't leave your house, okay? Get it delivered right to you.
It's called Speedweed?
It's called Speedweed, and they deliver.
That guy should win an award just for coming up with the greatest name of a business.
Speedweed, and they have marijuana. They have THC sex lube. My wife and I use it all the time. I'm telling you, your penis gets high. It's amazing. She feels better. All right, get high while you're having sex. It's amazing. So, my man, Chael Sonnen, how are you?
There's a lot happening in that intro, Adam. I feel like it'd be better if I joined the show now instead of 30 seconds ago. By the way, what do you got going with your shirt there? Is he reaching inside the shirt? Or are you like?
It's key. My baby, like whenever she gets a bottle, she's so used to being breastfed back in the day that she would always grab onto a bottle. So now she's basically grabbing onto my nipple while she's drinking milk.
All right, no, I got it. It's a bit of an optical illusion, but I get it now. Her arm is inside your shirt. She's wearing white. The shirt's white. I see it now. It was playing tricks on my eye, but I'm not the only one. I'm glad we got that out of the way.
Well, this morning she was grabbing my nipple and I was grabbing my wife's nipple while feeding her the bottle. It was like each of us had a nipple.
There's a lot happening right now.
So I gotta say, about 3 months ago, I was in Oregon doing comedy, Portland, Oregon, and I was like, "Hey, Chael, want to come to a show?" And he goes, "I'm taking you out for dinner." I go, "All right." He's like, "We're going out for steak." I'm like, "Okay, right? Sure, why not?" I'm like, "I'll meet you there." He goes, "No, I'm driving you." I'm like, "All right." You know, when Chael Sonnen says, "I'm taking you out for dinner," you go out for dinner. You know, he's the best. Shows up in a party limo with his wife, who drop dead gorgeous. My buddy Aaron came. It was one of the best times I've had in my life. Like, for all my losses that I've taken as a comic, as an MMA person, once in a while, you get like a bone thrown your way. You know, you get to open up for Russell Peters, you get on the Tonight Show. I put that up there. It was I've had so much fun that night. I learned so much about you, Chael. And this guy walks around, he's got like a sport jacket, and he tips everybody. He tips the driver, the pizza guy, this guy. It was like Goodfellas. You know that opening scene in Goodfellas when he's going through the restaurant, he takes care of this guy. That's Chael Sonnen in Oregon. It was the best.
Adam, how fun was that night? You know, that was so cool. That rig was cool. I'd never been in that rig either. I made a phone call and got the rig lined up. I'm blown away. I think we had like our own TV in it and all these things. But I got to tell you what was so fun is I had no idea Portland was that big until that night. So we had dinner in one place. You're doing your show in another place, and you're staying at another place, all in Portland. I mean, I figured we were like 5 minutes from each other. I think we were in the road like an hour to get from where you performed back to the hotel. I didn't know Oregon was even this big, let alone Portland.
It was the best. It was the best. And I got to say, Chael, you pulled off the impossible a couple days ago. You had your – Is Mayhem coming?
Here's video, dude.
Got him.
Mayhem. Okay, so I gotta say, your submission grappling event you put on was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Everybody else is canceling their events. They're saying, don't do it, and you did it. How much backlash? How hard was it? Talk to me about that entire process.
Okay, so let's start with how hard it was, okay? And I'm not looking for a pat on the back here, by the way, but Adam, I might deserve one. I mean, this was a really challenging thing. So it started with, where are you going to do it? And that's kind of the question that's going on right now in MMA, right? I mean, we got the April 18th thing set. We got the Khabib and we got the Tony. We're hearing about Justin Gaethje, but we still don't know where. So where are you going to do this? Turns into a big thing. So, I mean, we're just making phone calls. Hey, can we do this? Can we do this? Can we do? And we got a lot of no's. And it was a very polite. I'm kind of speeding the story, but we got a lot of people that said, look, and we were calling cities, and cities are going, we don't make the rules. We follow the state rules. We'd be more comfortable if you didn't come here. So we just kept calling. So we finally got somebody. We got a mother who answered the phone who worked for a city whose son is actually a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. She's been to the event. She knew all about it. So she lays out the state rules and says, if you can do this, go and have a good show. And it basically, our biggest challenge, Adam, was in Oregon. I think this might be everywhere, but in Oregon specifically, what's up, Mayhem? Is we could have 8 people in the room and no more than 8. So finding a way to separate everybody until it was time to walk out, making sure that the athletes left, literally not just the building, they left the property as soon as their match was done. Oh, and by the way, we couldn't have any cameramen, you couldn't have any runners, so we had no crowd, no ring cart girls, no announcer. We had a doctor, a referee, and 2 athletes. That was it. We literally didn't even have a cameraman. We had to do it all on remote cameras. I called the show. I was in yet a different location. That was the challenging part.
Now, how
you know what? Adam
man.
Hunter,
Yeah.
Mayhem Miller here on the MMA Roasted Podcast. I got to take my damn hat off to Chael Sonnen for having the courage and conviction to throw robot fights here in the year 2020.
To throw robot fights. That's
well, how did you control the cameras? Robots?
Yes, Mayhem. Yes.
Nice.
And
that's what I'm talking about. We live in the future.
You, like from an expense standpoint of doing production, we had to bring in 2 and 3 times. I think we had 8 cameras set up. We would usually have 3 people on handheld so they move around. We ended up setting up 8 cameras, so there was angles from everywhere, but all on a robotic. And then that had to lead to a cord that led to a trailer off the property where the director actually ran. Man, it was complicated. I got to tell you, before you get into the submissions and the arm bars that like everybody at home is sitting back enjoying, from our perspective, putting this puzzle together, it was tough.
And the thing is a lot of times in your events, they go long. I mean, each match goes, to overtime. You had like 3 first-round submissions in a row. Hey, Mayhem, by the way, could you please get rid of that thing because it's so feedback? Just get the whole headset. Can you just X the headset? Like, for real. Because we could hear so much feedback on it.
It's clanking around, dude.
No, like the whole thing. Just get rid of it. Just go with how we used to do it.
Bro, I'm going back to iPhone 1 because that's what MMA Roasted is all about. Not using the latest technology that clanks around and janks around. No, we're using iPhone headphones to talk to the bad guy.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being so easy to deal with. All right, so Chael, was it hard doing it completely by yourself, not having anyone to bounce off of?
Yeah, it really was. And Ryan Parsons, who you know, he was our Craig Broussard. That's what we call him. He was head of production for this, and he had a vision. I got to tell you, Adam, I didn't see it. As he explained it to me, I'm in one room with a backdrop and a headset on. They're grappling somewhere else. Nobody's in the belt. I absolutely did not see his vision. And when the whole thing was done, I go, that worked. I mean, TV is changing in many ways, if I can call it TV. Jimmy Fallon, who's now doing the Tonight Show from his house. We got newscasters all over that are broadcasting information to us from their home, even what we're doing right now. And I'm not sure TV's ever going to go back, by the way. I think that they're finding there's another way to do this. There's a lot less hands involved. There's an easier, more relaxed way. I'm not sure, Adam, we ever get back in the world of visual stimulation to the way it used to be. I think there's a better way. And when I very first saw it, I thought, this is weird. I'm into it, and we're in a weird time. Now, the weirdness, I'm finding kind of cool.
Now, I got to talk. By the way, since we have Mayhem and Chael on, and you guys are both legends and pioneers in so many different ways. I mean, Mayhem with your antics and your ring walk and your this. Chael with your amazing shit talk and kind of like the first guy to ever bring a WWE element to MMA. But you guys fought each other back in the day, and the ring collapsed. Like, you guys tell me what the hell happened.
Oh,
Mayhem, you go first.
Do you remember that fight?
Add to that, because I had a team.
Listen.
You go first.
Listen, I was 12-0 as a young buck, and then I ran into Chael Sonnen, all right, the takedown machine. And I realized that, man, they didn't teach me how to wrestle in Atlanta, and because I wrestled, but in the circuit that I wrestled in, it wasn't that elite type wrestling that Chael Sonnen brought to the cage. And that day, in the gangster days of MMA, before it was MMA, did we still call it NHB back then? Probably did call it NHB. Man, he hit me with the double leg, we went caving through the thing. Now, what I thought was interesting about that is that me and Chael respect each other enough to both nod at the hole in the ring and avoid it the rest of the fight, right? Right? Remember
True.
that?
It's
Well,
true.
we caught eyes, and we're like, I started circling you around to that part, and you were like, and I was like, gotcha, bud. MMA.
Mayhem, I appreciate that. You brought me a pride in bringing that back and putting me over. That was very sweet of you. But, Adam, I got to tell you one more thing about this cage. So you called it a jinky cage. Look, this thing was so bad. Not only did we break it, but, Adam, there was like 6 fights left after we got done. They were going to fight in this bad cage. So if you watch, say, Bellator or the UFC, the fence is always black. Well, the reason that's black, it's called dipped. Okay, so they take the fence, they dip it in like a plastic that wraps it. You could rub your hand on it smooth as can be. This cage was also black, but it was galvanized steel that they spray painted black. I had a teammate run his hand against the fence and it caught him and it sliced his hand open. We had to go to the hospital and get 6 stitches put in. I mean, this whole thing was bad. But to Mayhem's point, we didn't even think it was weird. That's the way it was in the NHB days. There was no holds barred on the cage too. It was normal.
Now, when you guys fought each other, was he like the crazy Mayhem antics to try to get in your head, or was he respectful Jason Miller?
Well, he was already in my head whether he knew it or not because he had just done a tournament. You remember that was back in the tournament days. And he had just beaten up 2 men in one night. And that was the only video I had on him was watching him kick these guys' butt back to back. And I remember going, man, I'm not familiar with this guy, but like Tito was vouching for him and Dan Henderson knew who he was. And everyone was saying, man, you got to be careful of this guy. This guy's crazy. He fights the whole time. He never backs down. And then I have one video of him whipping 2 guys in about an hour separation. So he was in my head, if that's what you're asking.
And what was your first impression of Chael, Mayhem?
Listen, I was selling tickets outside the venue like fucking 15 minutes before. I didn't know who I was fighting. I would fight anybody. I was ready to fight whoever. They told me he was a wrestler. I was like, I know how to do jiu-jitsu, so that's fine. Yeah, it didn't work out that night, but Chael. Hey, at the end of the fight, you had me pushed up against the razor wire. Did I or did I not have you in a shin choke from Uma Plata at the very end?
100%. Yes.
Gurgling, right? Man,
100%.
okay. I was trying to see if I made that up. Ma'am,
you got to tell me one. I'll see if you remember this. So Paul Herrera threw another show, and I don't think you fought on it, but I did. But I know you were there, and you had some kind of heat, and it was either with Babalu or it was Aaron Brink, and like somebody took a swing at you, or was what happened? I've never known that whole story.
Bro, I don't even know what show you're talking about. Like, I always had beef, and I always was swinging in the parking lot. And it was just kind of how I rolled for a good long time until, everything got cleaned up.
Now, man, does your pillow say "Join my cult"?
Yeah. That's actually a Mayhem shirt from 2002 that I found. And I mean, it's like the last remaining. I think there might be some out there. Dummy? That's my jiu-jitsu dummy. That's correct. I created it. Shout out to Eric Shields for giving us give me the idea.
Now, Chael, I gotta ask you, Chael, are you just an expert at time management? Because I look at you and I'm like, okay, so you work for the UFC and you have to watch everybody's fights before, every fight. Then you work for Bellator and you got to watch everybody's fights. Then you also have a promotion and you got to put together this promotion and do all kinds of behind the scenes businesses. Now, most of these jobs, one person would do, that would be their whole job. And then you're also working at a gym and you're training and you're married and you're a father of 2. How do you have time to do all this?
All right. Well, thank you for all of that. I got to tell you, I got my little maniac right next door. I'm hoping he doesn't pop in here. So that's part of the time management. I bring him to work with me. But I will tell you, Adam, I've never felt like I have to watch everyone's fights or I have to go watch. I love it. I've been a big fan from day one. I remember the first time I saw it. I had a couple of rules in my house like everybody's house did, but one of the first rules under my father's care was do not skip school, ever. If you're ever not going to class, simply tell me, but don't tell me you're going to class and I find out you're somewhere else. And I followed that my whole life. And one day, my junior year, I broke the rule. I cut class with a buddy named Jeff. We went to Blockbuster. We rented a DVD of something called The Ultimate Fighting Championship. We went to his house. We watched it. I went home. I confessed to my father what I did, but I said, Dad, I know what I want to do with my life. You've got to see this. There's this guy named Hoist Gracie, and he's got this weird style. That's what I want to do and I want to learn. I didn't get in trouble at all. But my point to you is I'm just a fan, man. I haven't lost that passion from 1993 when I was a junior in high school to today. I love it.
Wow.
Damn, all my dad did was throw a beer bottle at me when I told him I was going to be an MMA fighter.
Did he come? Mayhem, did he come? Did he watch the fights?
Yeah. He watched the fights and slapped me on the back, was proud of me. Later. In the beginning stages, because this wasn't a thing. It wasn't on YouTube. It wasn't on TV. It was just like some dudes fighting in the basement. It was like we literally, you know what I mean? And it's weird because it's coming full circle, isn't it? Now we're back to fighting in the basement because we can't be near each other. Don't cough in my mouth, you know. And I'm glad that you're doing that, man. I would like to see your setup over there in Submission Underground.
I appreciate that. And you know what? You're right. We have come full circle. Adam, I never thought about that until Mayhem just said it. We started out in front of no crowds. We got to the biggest arenas. We're back to no audience. That's true.
Now, didn't you recently say that you think that Ferguson versus Khabib, when it was still on, should have no rounds, no limits?
No, okay. I was only doing a hypothetical. I was asking the audience, who do you think wins Khabib versus Tony? Okay, great. Hold that thought. Now back up. Let's say it was UFC 1, where there was no rounds, where if you got a takedown every 5 minutes, it wasn't a restart. You didn't get the water in between rounds. Just under those rules. Now tell me who you think would win. And then I asked the audience, the third question was, under Pride rules, where even though it was 3 rounds, the judges were instructed to score this as though it's one long fight. And it was more of just for fun. I mean, I could have played that game forever. Well, what happens if they fight on the moon? I mean, you could just play that game. But Adam, I'm starving for content over there. There's nothing going on.
But now, I don't know if it's the April Fool's Day joke, but today they were saying that Conor might fight Ferguson. Did you hear that?
I have heard that, and I think that you need to put a heavy emphasis on the word might. Every statement is true if you include the word might. There is no chance that you waste the Mac machine without a press tour. I mean, he's got a unique skill set, and I can tell you, I was in Vegas when he fought Cowboy Cerrone. That was on short notice, and Conor Mania is a very real thing. Not to mention, he's got first, second, third, and fourth place all-time gate records. I'm very bearish on that. I really think the obvious solution, if you can find a location, even get it done, regardless of the players. But if we're now talking about inserting different players, I think we just go to Gaethje, don't you? Doesn't that just make?
But on Devil's Advocate, if it's Conor, it's the only game in town. He's competing against no other sports. So now it's just Conor McGregor versus Tony Ferguson, and nothing else is going against it.
But what did I make that same argument for? That's why you don't use Conor, because you could use him when things are hot and you do have competition. Right now, when everything's look, we're tuning in no matter what, and I don't even think this is all about business for Dana. I really don't. I think it's about, look, we got to move things forward. We've got to push the world forward. Let's give the world something to look forward to. One thing we can all agree on, regardless of how you want to look at this quarantine, is as human beings, we have to have a light at the end of the tunnel, man. Hope is a real thing. We need something to look forward to.
Yeah. Mayhem, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, well, look, Conor's the hottest thing in town. And I think Tony Ferguson had something magical within him, too. And I think that Tony so far has been pushed to, like, kind of play that Conor McGregor, but he's finding his own voice. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, finding his own style, both on the mat, with his wrestling, with his stand-up especially, because I've seen him, like, continuously improve with his stand-up. You know, he had his elbows, and he's got one of those natural things on his own, but he's also developed. You know, he's like, whoever's coaching him in the stand-up has really, like, tweaked things. So I think the Conor McGregor fight is, thanks, Dana.
Hey, Mayhem, speaking of, have you ever rolled with Tony Ferguson? Have you ever worked out with him?
I want to say no, but I feel like I have when he was real young, though. Like, I saw a little bit, a glimmer of what he was going to become.
Yeah, a lot of our guests come on and be like, you ever do with Mayhem and Mayhem says no and they go, yeah, you did. So
I know. It's like one of those things, you know what I mean? Pop marijuana, getting hit. Who knows? Some of those memories got clouded. All right, I'll just tell you the truth. But I do know the 10th Planet style, and I do know where it works and where it fails, because there are some downsides to doing MMA match with the 10th Planet style. It's true, but I feel like Tony Ferguson is kind of one of those guys that, you know, once in a generation fighter where he like tweaks up this style the same way Bruce Lee was thinking. Take what works, discard the rest. You know, and I feel like that's why he impresses me so much.
According to Chael, Bruce Lee was a hype, right?
Bruce Lee was a hype, but aren't we all fucking hype? Chael Sonnen calling somebody hype, the king of hype, the right-wing king of hype. Chael Sonnen is calling somebody hype.
I will tell you, Bruce was hype as far as a fighter went, but Adam, not as far as philosophies. Bruce Lee did make some good philosophies for his time. They would sound very simple now, like what Mayhem was just saying. Take what works and apply it. Well, duh, but that wasn't duh when he was saying it. That was like, hey, that's not what you do. You're very disciplined to karate. You're very disciplined to kung fu. Bruce said, no, man, go try them all, and whatever works in actual competition, use. So I'll just disclose that in fairness to Bruce.
Has anybody ever got mad at you, Chael, for making a pick against him?
Yeah, I've gotten some of that, but you know what, Adam? I get mad at announcers when they refuse to do it. I'll see some announcers sitting on the desk. I'll ask for a prediction, and you can tell what the guy's thinking. The guy's like, well, my relationship with this guy versus my relationship. Oh, this is sure going to be a close one, which is code for I really like both of these guys. You know, both of these guys have my cell phone number. It's like, man, knock it off. If you're going to do that job and you get asked a question, have the balls to answer the question. What's wrong with that?
Bro, Chael, here at MMA Roasted, everybody fucking hates us, so we pick against everybody, and we pick for everybody. I don't give a shit who's texting me. I don't care that I got a suspicious package from Dagestan that's ticking. I'm not opening that package, Khabib.
No, Mayhem, as your agent, I was trying to get you set up. You told me I was your agent 2 days ago.
Yeah, I forgot.
I talked to Chael about getting you in a grappling match, submission grappling. He said he's down, right?
I'm totally in. I think you specifically said against Michael Bisping. I'm always down for Mayhem, and he knows that. Mayhem will tell you, I've sent him plenty of text messages trying to get him out here to Portland.
Not happening. We don't have enough money for Mayhem. We don't have enough money for Bisping, okay? We definitely don't have enough money for Bisping, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? He got that Fox money. He's just rubbing his ass with Roger Ailes' fucking toilet paper. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way that Mike Bisping comes up off the couch, man. I wouldn't either. You know what I'm saying?
The Fox deal ended a while ago, but you are right. It wouldn't necessarily be a cash grab. It would be, hey, give the world a little taste of Mayhem. Fair point on the dollars. You're right.
It's jiu-jitsu, dude. Come on.
Hey, you know what? Honestly, I feel like at this point, like anybody I wrestle with, we got to do something for charity, get some N95 masks or something like that. Like, it's a different day now. I feel selfish, you know, fighting for myself when the world is like gridlocked and it's going to be shut down for a while. And the economy is like, whoa, what? It would be nice to give some people some damn jobs and, you know, like kind of spread the love of the sport during this new dark time. We had the dark ages.
Yeah, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen?
What do you mean in terms of MMA, or like where's the world going?
The world.
Oh, he's asking about his baby.
When is this shutdown going to end?
Yeah, well, Adam, and look, it seems to either be stop or go, right? I mean, if we can't beat this little cowardly, faceless virus that we're dealing with, that we have to respect. But I mean, come on, this thing's attacking women, it's attacking children, the elderly. What a cowardly virus! But if we can't beat it in all fairness, then we got to learn to live with it. If this is going to become the new normal, and you and I are old enough to know when HIV came out and all of the money and government powers they put behind it, they never beat that thing. You and I are old enough to know they've been attacking cancer for years. All the money and researchers and institutions, nothing resource-wise or manpower-wise will touch what they put into those two diseases. Corona will never touch that. And they didn't cure those two diseases. We've all just had to learn to live with it. All I'm sharing for you is, if this is the new normal, I would rather know sooner than later so we can get on with it. That's a personal statement.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Fully agree.
You said John Jones's problems can be solved with Uber, right? But we talked about this recently, how like when John Jones beat you, right? He said, I wanted to Chael Sonnen. Like I wanted to out wrestle the great wrestler. He has this thing about him of like, I'm John Jones. I'm the baddest guy on the planet. I can do whatever I want. And in MMA, that works. But in the rest of the world, rest of life, it doesn't work. Because you can't go out and drive drunk and shoot guns and whatever. But what would you do if you were the UFC president as far as John Jones?
Okay, it's a really tough spot. I can just tell you the history of the UFC, which is if there's an authoritative body over somebody for disciplinary action, in this case, it would be local law enforcement. You let that play out. Now, they did let that play out. I don't know if you read this press release this morning, but John Jones essentially was given a slap on the wrist. I mean, they sent him home. I think they called it like, home confinement, but in fairness, we're all quarantined and supposed to be at home right now. Adam, I didn't even read that there was community service. I didn't even read that there was a fine. I trust that there was both, but in the press release I saw, it didn't mention either one of those things. I think if you're running sport, I think you're outside your lanes. For you to step in as a commissioner of sport and discipline a guy further than a judge did, I don't think that's appropriate.
The NFL does that, right? Doesn't the NFL do that?
Yeah, we see them do it all the time, but they also take a lot of heat for that. A lot of people go, hey, what are you doing? I just answered to them. The union step in. I mean, it turns into a big deal. I do think there's a precedent set because don't forget, this thing could have gone either way for John Jones. They could have brought in, well, look, you just came off probation and we're going to work this in, or this is your second time offender, mandatory 90 days in jail, which is quite frankly what the law in Albuquerque says, and it's very clearly written. So even if you were to argue that John got a slap on the wrist, he walked in there like a man. He was willing to take whatever they gave to him. And in this case, it's over. That's it.
Wow. Mayhem.
I think you could argue that he got a light sentence. I think that you could argue the judge was nice to him, but I think that's the argument you have to make. I don't think that you can then argue, hey, look, this was light. Now, Dana, you come in and do it. Look, you don't beat a dog for something he did last week, right? It's just not the way it works. I think that would be a little bit unfair if anybody came in and goes, okay, John, the judge has ruled, but we've decided to overrule the judge. Come on, man. That's not right in my opinion.
So that's what you would do, though.
I think that that's what you would have to do. Yes, if I was in charge, I think that's what I would have to do. I'd have to look at what the judge should go, okay, there's the ruling. Let's move on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But how long is that going to take, though? Come on, man. The court system don't work that fast. Well, did like John Jones go through like drive-through court and already got sentenced for that?
They said he got,
like a week ago.
They said he got 4 days home confinement.
Mayhem, I agree with you.
Way to go.
Mayhem, that was one of the things I was most surprised about is that he got before a judge this fast and the gavel came down. And Mayhem, by the way, you'll think this is interesting too. So if you read that case or watched the body cam, John was in a jam for the drinking and driving, but he also had a gun. And a gun had discharged, and they found a casing right at the floor. And they picked up, and so it looked like there was going to be a big investigation on the gun. They didn't even charge him for the gun for whatever reason. They didn't even charge. This case is closed.
Damn.
This case is done.
Yeah, you know what? And look, I wasn't really in favor of like throwing the book at John for busting his gun off at the coronavirus drunk in the parking lot, but I Mayhem. And, I guess maybe my moral fibers are a little loose. I'm glad he didn't hurt anybody. California, I feel like he would have done 3 to 5 for that, for sure.
And guys, one thing about John Jones, and I don't know why, I don't know where this comes from, of all the paperwork that he lets slip, of all the mistakes he makes, for one thing that he always does, he always registers his guns, and he's got a whole collection. For some reason, I don't know if he's got a full-time manager, I don't know who does, he always registers his weapons, and I think that saved his ass in this case.
Well, he buys them legally, so they register themselves.
Absolutely.
Isn't he also
you can have it in your vehicle and hide it under the seat and be, fired out the window when you're hitting donuts in the I got it, but I think that's one of the reasons that didn't.
Isn't he also really nice? Isn't he also really nice to your mom?
Yeah, he was nice. Hey, I'm not coming out and being a John Jones defender. I'm just telling you this is what happened. I read the case, and I'm just reporting it to you in case you didn't see it. But, yes, John is very lovely to my mother. That is true.
I remember you saying that you actually like people that are nice to your mom. Like, that's how you judge their character.
Do you want to know what he did that won my mom over? I think I've told you the story. But so, first off, he was just always nice to her. Like, even when he and I had heat, if she was there, he would go over and say hi, and it meant a lot to her. But after we got done fighting, he stays up all night and parties. I have to go and fly out at 5 a.m. I got to meet in the lobby, and we don't even walk to the ring because we fought on the East Coast. We didn't even walk to the ring till 12:30 in the morning. So at 5 a.m., I got to be in the lobby with my bag to get to the airport to fly home. So John's in the lobby when I walk down. He's talking to my mom, and they're the only two there. And my mom's sitting there all ready to go, and John is wearing nothing but sweatpants. And I mean that literally. No hat, no necklace, no watch, no socks, no shoes, no shirt. He's
no draws.
Visiting with my mom. So we get all the way done. You know, I thank him for the evening. He thanks me. I congratulate him. We go on our way. He walks away, and he's like a floor up now. He took the elevator. He's up, but it's one of those motels where you can see. He gets our attention. We both look up at him. He drops his pants and moons me and my mother. And I'm one of those guys that think a mooning is funny. Some people think it's childish. If you moon me, that's funny.
Oh my God, that's sexual assault.
That's what some people say. My mother went and bragged about it on Facebook.
That's hilarious.
She saw the champ's bare butt.
So he beat you the night before. Next day he moons you and your mom.
Yes, at 5 in the morning after partying all night, which he told me.
Now, Chael, let me ask you the important questions here. What was the tone the same as his face, or is it more like a moon pie color?
Same tone.
Weird. Wow. I didn't know black people's ass stayed the same color.
Still remember, he was wearing red sweatpants. I still remember the whole thing. And my mom and I looked at each other and then we just started laughing. That's funny.
Hilarious.
Man,
that's awesome.
Don Jones is always mooning us.
Think that's funny. That's funny.
That's so funny. I mean, first of all, that's so unprofessional and amazing at the same time. That's
the tagline of our show: unprofessional and funny.
Now, I know you and Colby Covington are pretty close, right? Now, has Colby does he go out to you and say, because I know he kind of took the Chael Sonnen playbook and was like, sort of did his version of it. But you used to train Colby, or you were his coach, or what's your relationship like with Colby?
I've known him ever since he was a little kid, and I was a lot older I'm 42 now. I don't know how old he is. He's got to be around 30. So we worked out together. When he was at college, I went up and worked out with him. Then when he got done with college, he came to Team Quest when he wanted to get in MMA. And so we trained a little bit more there. And at Team Quest, we were trying to recruit him. We're like, hey, you're from Oregon. We're in Oregon. We're the top gym. You know, let's do this together. And he's one of these guys that's not afraid to get in a car and go. I mean, he did that with junior college, and then he transferred to another college, and he did this same thing with MMA and went out to Coconut Creek. And he just found himself at home. And no, I do have people that say that to me a lot. Hey, are you helping Colby with his lines? Never. Not only am I not helping him, he never even asks me my opinion. I go to him and go, hey, is this true? Or do you and Masvidal really have heat? And I'll have to find it out that way. But no, other than that, if I help to inspire him, then I would feel honored to do that, because I'm very proud of where he's at.
What were your thoughts about him and Usman that fight?
That was one of the best fights I've ever seen. It truly was. And I was pulling for Colby, and so was my mom, and we were there live, and we were surrounded by people that weren't, and they were mad that we were. That fight got so dirty so fast. I mean, they're both poking each other in the eyes. They're both kicking each other in the balls. That was such an awesome fight that I feel like didn't fully get credit. I know people liked the fight, but it kind of ended weird. And then there was this rumor that Colby's jaw was broke. I think if that rumor, which turned out to be false, I think if that rumor never came out, they would have booked an immediate rematch that night. I think the only thing that stopped them from getting a rematch was a false rumor that Colby couldn't do it because his jaw was broke, which it wasn't.
Who do you think planted that rumor?
Well, I heard that the announce team had said it, Mayhem. I heard like on the announcement.
He said it in the corner.
Yeah, he said it himself.
Yeah.
He said, I think my jaw's broke in the corner.
I think he told his corner my jaw's broke, but that was before they got an x-ray or anything. Like, he was just making a comment. So the announce team picked up on it, put that out to the world, got to Dana, influenced the press conference.
So go ahead and put the blame where it deserved, Joe Rogan. Go ahead and say it was Joe Rogan's fault for that rumor. And because Joe Rogan picked up on it, said it 6 times during round 3, I mean, I guess to make it more glorious a fight than it even was, than it needed to be. You know, I don't think his jaw was broken. And you're confirming it.
Joe Rogan said he wouldn't commentate on the Masvidal, on the
Tony Khabib.
Fight between Khabib versus Ferguson. Would you commentate? Are you allowed to for the UFC or no?
49. Well, so if that fight happens, that'll be on pay-per-view. I'll be participating in that, but through the ESPN channel. if ESPN wanted to send me over to call the fight, I definitely would. If you're asking, like, am I afraid to call? No, I would love to be part of it. I would love to be there and see it live. I will not miss 1 second of that fight. And the closer I can be to the action, the better.
Now, versus Usman Masvidal, because that fight seemed like to be the next logical fight. Who do you have in that one?
All right, I think that's a really interesting fight, and my opinion might change as that gets a little bit closer. But I will tell you this, Adam, I'm surprised at that booking, only because you've got the greatest fighter in the world, who is Masvidal, or I apologize, who is Usman, proved by the champion. But then you've got the biggest star in the sport. I mean, Masvidal is right up there with a Conor McGregor. This guy's star is so big right now. I just don't know that I would book him against the champ and burn one of those guys. I think that I would run in a different direction with Masvidal. Masvidal was sitting on this, Nate Diaz-esque, where you could fight anybody, and it doesn't matter if a belt's on the line. You're going to fill up an arena. You're going to get all the press, all the media, and people are going to come out. It is such a rare spot, and I was a little surprised. I don't disagree that Masvidal should be the top contender, but I was a little surprised that they were put together so quickly.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are saying that because my first inkling is that Usman's got the wrestling, and that sort of has been Masvidal's Achilles heel a little bit. But now who do we have on? We had you, and we had the other day we had Woodley and Forrest. They seem to think that Masvidal's got the advantage in that fight.
Wow. That would surprise me. I suspect when those guys go fight the Kamaru, like if you're talking Vegas, will probably be a 2-1 favorite. It's just hard to say because Masvidal has so many fans, man. He can move the line. And then when you pull an upset like he did over Askren, you've got this kind of momentum. He cruised through Diaz. He grabs a championship himself, the BMF. I think. Do you know the story about Masvidal knocking out 3 guys in a club?
No.
Okay. So I just got a hold of this story from Bisping. Bisping tells me the story. I say, I can't keep this secret. I'm going to go and tell everyone the story. Bisping goes, you got to call Masvidal first. I don't know if I was allowed to tell the story. Call and get permission. So I call Masvidal. Here's the story. Masvidal's in a club. 2 guys walk up to him that he doesn't know. He's wearing a necklace. One of the guys flips his chain. Masvidal doesn't know how to interpret that other than they're getting ready to rob me. Boom, boom, knocks them both out. Now, if you ever meet a guy that threw 2 punches and knocked out 2 guys in a club, you met a liar. Unless his name is George Masvidal. So, okay, he knocks these 2 guys out, and like a big scene starts to erupt. So he ducks out to get away from it to try to escape. He goes into the bathroom. Some guy comes in the bathroom right behind him. He turns around, knocks that guy out. I said, George, why'd you knock the guy out in the bathroom? And he goes, hey, man, I didn't know if he was with them or not. I couldn't take the risk. Like, wow. You have to take the risk. What if he was just in there he doesn't know anything? It's a crowded club. He's just coming to use the bathroom. You turn around and square him up? He goes,
well, he definitely used the bathroom after that.
He says it really calmly, Mayhem. He goes, I couldn't take the risk. It's like, you have to take the risk.
Wow.
Yeah, well, no charges filed, so, I mean, he got away with that one.
But this is the mindset. He's not letting you into, I got good hands. He's letting you into the crazy. This is a street guy, Mayhem. This is a rough guy. You better know the Masvidal code if you're going to go play with Masvidal. I think Kamaru's got his own code himself. I'm just saying, there's more to this guy.
Ben Askren didn't understand the Masvidal code.
Boom. Exactly. He didn't know the code.
Yeah.
Don't tease that guy.
Man,
see, on that fight, how many guys have I knocked out in the bar? 3 for sure. When you said that, I was like, I've done that before. Allegedly. Anyway, back to the Masvidal fight.
No, guys, no bar.
That's in the same fucking night.
All right, tell that story. Hey, tell this story about you knocking out 3 guys at a bar.
All right. So, I wasn't even in the bar yet. I was in like a rotunda going up to the bar, right? It's like this kind of like a stairway, a staircase, right? And I'm standing there on one side of the staircase talking shit with my buddy who just got back from Iraq, right? And I was like, look, bro, don't get us in no shit tonight because when we were kids, you always got us in shit. I always had to beat somebody's ass, and it was always your fault. He's like, well, bro, I just got out of war. I'm good. And I said, all right, cool. Man, it seemed like a split second later, some like white supremacist comes charging down the fucking, you know what I mean? And there I am with the Asian girlfriend, a Puerto Rican best friend. And this white supremacist said, get over there. And I'm like, get on the other side of the stairs? Like, no. All I had to do was say, yeah. All I had to do was say, okay. But I couldn't.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't. Now, on top of that, this guy is above me on the stairs. And as you know, having the high ground is a good thing from Star Wars. Okay? So he had the high ground on me, and I was kind of anxious. And I was like, yo, bro, if you don't just walk by me, I'm going to throw you down these stairs. And he's like, you're going to throw me down the stairs, bro? And he had a mustache like this, white supremacist, I'm telling you. Shot caller. He looked like a skinhead, that, right? You're going to throw me down the stairs? Like, yeah, bro, I'm going to throw you down the stairs. Oh, you're going to throw me down the stairs? I said, yeah, I'm going to throw you down the stairs. Man, he pushed on me. I just hit that Chael Sonnen underhook and just chucked him down the fucking stairs. This guy, now the commotion has been caused, okay? Everyone on this stairway is looking down on us like, what the fuck? Like, oh shit, some shit. There's somebody fell down the stairs. That's kind of the murmur that was going through the crowd. Nobody saw me throw him down the stairs, okay? This dude has a guy behind him going, you threw my friend down the stairs. And he grabs my shirt, and I go, and now I don't have the railing. So I'm kind of wobbly, and now I'm even more scared. I'm like, bro, I'm going to knock you out. You're going to knock me out? I'm going to knock you out. You're going to knock me out? And I knocked the guy the fuck out. He went tumbling, bro. Timber. Kablam onto his friend who's getting up. I push-kicked him in the face, sat him down. Yeah. Another one of his buddies got the uppercut. He fell down the stairs, too. It was.
What bar was this? Chuck E. Cheese? Where was this?
I plead the fifth.
Oh, was it in Orange County?
I plead the fifth.
All right.
So anyway, my buddy from Iraq.
Recent story. I'm assuming this is a long time ago, right? I actually remember the girlfriend you're talking about.
All my stories are.
Yeah, didn't you
remember you remember that I used to have an Asian girlfriend?
Yes. I mean, maybe you had multiple.
Yeah, way to go.
I met her.
Way to go.
Well, didn't you guys have a similar girlfriend? Wasn't there you guys date the same?
Bro,
what?
Multiple similar girlfriends.
Oh, okay. So who won that battle? So Chael won the battle in the cage with this. Who won the Asian girlfriend battle of the 90s between you and
Chael again, bro. I can't fucking stop losing to the guy.
The 90s.
The judges gave a slight nod towards the white American Republican.
All right. Okay. Well, all right.
Mayhem's being very nice to me today, isn't he? I don't know.
Bro, listen, we're so happy to have a superstar on the show after we've been fucking interviewing the goddamn dregs of society, which we are a part of. But, I'm just coming to some realizations about Adam Hunter and MMA Roasted Podcast it's sending me on a philosophical note, and I'm just so happy to have fucking Chael Sonnen on here, one of the voice pieces of America. Is that a word? Voice pieces?
No, Chael, you were on the Apprentice, right? Was that with Schwarzenegger or with Trump?
Yes, the one I won. Yes, that was with Schwarzenegger.
What was he like?
He was great. I was only around him a little bit. Well, I'll tell you this. One thing that he did, so he had a contract. I mean, he's making a TV show. Well, he got very into the experience and the experiment, if you will. And there was days that he had off that he wasn't on TV, and he would go. One day he went into a building, he goes up top and he was watching us all with binoculars to get feedback. I mean, he got really into it, which I thought was really cool because it was a very real process in terms of trying to win and trying to do this competition. I think that Schwarzenegger was up against it a little bit in the ratings, only because when Trump did it, it was very real in that if you won the show, you actually got a job and a contract and you went to Trump Tower and worked for a year. Schwarzenegger, it was just a rating grab, right? I mean, there was nothing that came with it. If you win the Celebrity Apprentice, everybody gets up and goes home. So I think that was a little bit tougher spot he was put in, but he was cool if that's what you're asking. He was a great guy.
Well, I know at one point the word on the street was that you were hoping to one day be like a Fox News commentator, which I think you'd be amazing at. Kind of like a Hannity, Tucker, Chael. Is that something that you still would like to do?
Well, I appreciate that. I've got a real interest in politics, but no, I don't think that's the road that I'll go down. But I do have an interest in that. I've watched sportscasters and whatnot. I've watched a lot of political debates. Many people have asked me, when I was, building up a fight or something, what was my inspiration or what athlete was I trying to be behind? I said, well, Those actually, and a lot of it just got credited to pro wrestling. It's like, yeah, I'm actually not a very big pro wrestling fan, but I've watched every political debate you could possibly think. I mean, I watch senators battle each other. If it's political, I like the body language. I like the words. I like those kind of fights. I like those verbal fights. And one person gets over on the other, and I see strategy in it. And I just personally have an interest in that.
Are you allowed to run again? Because I know at one point you were the governor, right?
To run again?
Yeah, weren't you the governor of Oregon or something, or lieutenant governor?
No, I had one. I was running just for state representative. It's a very small position, like the state Congress, if you will. And then I got arrested, and it was this whole thing. And it's
look, bro, you know what? It always happens. Every time you get a little political traction, the police come knocking at your door. If you're an MMA fighter, I mean, I'm not saying conspiracy, but I will be making tinfoil hats for sale on Mayhem Martial Arts.
Mayhem, is that what happened with you? You were running for something, and that's why the cops came?
Yeah, well, no, not necessarily. I mean, they were more upset at me robbing banks than they were at me running for something. But I tried to explain this to you before. That was half of Robin Hood. So Robin Hood stole from the rich and gave to the poor. I stole from the rich, but then I kept it. And
he became one of the elitists. I get it.
I'm not saying I'm a hero like Robin Hood was. I was just a regular guy who acted heroic.
Right. Now, did you ever actually really not like any of your opponents, or was that sort of for show?
No, it was very real. I never manufactured that, but I will tell you in all fairness, like I could not stand Anderson. So I thought about this guy every day. I hated this guy. I never even met him. So in hindsight, that's kind of a weird thing to do, to really not like a guy when I'd never met him. And then Vanderlei and I just couldn't get it right for whatever reason. And we had met, but then now we get along great. So it's kind of one of those weird things. And I also never knew Fedor. Fedor's maybe like the nicest guy you're ever going to meet that's done combat. But it was very real to me. In my world, I'd read something they said about me, and I'd stay up at night. I'd be so mad. I'd say 10 more things about them.
But Tito, you don't like, right, Tito?
No, that's very real. Yeah, Tito and I also have never really got it right.
Now, I remember when Vitor Belfort was knocking out everybody. When he was TRT Belfort, I mean, when he was just – it was like a video game. I honestly think that Vitor Belfort would have went undefeated. They would have allowed him with TRT when he was doing those things. And nobody wanted to fight him except you. You're the only – and I remember looking at you backstage at the MMA Awards. I'm like, Chael, this guy, he goes, listen, if you could last the first round, you can beat him. He goes, that first round is going to be brutal. But but that was your philosophy on that.
Yeah, so I had 3 teammates that fought. I studied Vitor a lot because I was a big Vitor fan. You know, he was beating everybody up before I was even in. But Randy fought him a couple of times. Henderson fought him a couple of times. Lindland fought him. So I studied Vitor a lot, and there was a statistic on Vitor. I don't know how much it holds true to this day, but there was a statistic at one point that not only had he never won a fight that he didn't win in the first round, he's never won a decision to this day. But not only had he never won a fight that he hadn't won in the first round, you could back it up even further too. He had never won a fight that he hadn't won in like the first 3 minutes of the first round. And none of that is an insult to Vitor. I loved his style. I loved watching him fight. But if you are going by the numbers, to my point I made to you, was if you can get it out of the first round, at least statistically, you've got more of a shot. He was just so fast at him. He was so damn powerful. I even remember pre-TRT Vitor, when whatever the hell he was on at 19, when he was coming out as Vitor Gracie and made his debut. Remember when that Tank Abbott and stuff? He would find that shot and he would do what's called the march step, where you step one in front of the other, so your jab is always your cross. You never have a jab. He was awesome. I loved watching Vitor.
Wow. Mayhem?
No, yeah, I liked how he broke it down Moneyball style with the algorithmics. You know what I mean? Like that's definitely a way to do it, is if you could break down the percentages of when, what a fighter does or what he's the best at. That's a great way to look at things. I think more fighters should look into that type of analysis, because
is that what you did?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, there's an art to it, right? But there is a statistical angle from it. And nowadays it's really strange because, a lot of the fights got the punch stats and, some kind of CompuBox type numbers. And that can make a big difference when studying a fighter. Like back in the day, we didn't have YouTube. You couldn't really dig in. There was no Fight Pass. So you had to kind of string together a DVD. That was the high tech. oh, put a DVD of all this guy's fights, right? And then slow motion some parts. The analysis of the fight will take you from just training for a fight to like sharpening the skills, sharpening that edge and honing it till you get the victory.
Mayhem, I actually went through that, if I can tell you just on a personal level, but I had lost a handful of fights, and I went and met with a guy who was a sports psychologist, Dr. Verstegen. He'd never worked with a fighter before. He'd never even worked with a fighter. So, never even watched fighting. So he brought my record up online, and he was going through it, and he started breaking me down just purely by the numbers, and every fight I had ever lost was always in the second round. And so he was asking me, hey, what happens in the second round? So I would tell him, I go, well, if you're a little tired in the second round and you got to get through that one and another round, your mind starts playing tricks on you. And he was telling me that's called taking inventory. As an athlete, that's okay, I'm taking inventory. I'm a little worn down. I'm only 4 minutes in or 7 minutes in. It's a 15-minute fight. Why don't I just check out now? And I could feel that, like, as he was saying it to me. I also have always done really well in the third round. And there was something about me kind of like a racehorse. If you could see the barn in sight, if you knew the finish line was there, you could kind of push through. But that's a very real thing. And sometimes we don't even know it about ourselves as athletes. I don't know that Vitor, unless he watches this and hears it, would even know that about himself until he heard me break him down.
Listen, Vitor Belfort, I saw Vitor Belfort in a toilet one time when he said he was going to quit fighting, right? And like, I did like a little tear emoji, I was like, what?
Wait, can you break this down? Was he taking a shit when you're saying this?
Nah. I felt like we were
2 feet under the stalls.
We're like backstage at a UFC. And
why was there a toilet?
Because there's the locker rooms. Come on, man. I think I was taking a piss coming out, and he was going in to take a piss. And he was kind of feeling bummed out, like, you know what I mean? His last performance wasn't good. And I was like, bro, you can't quit. Vitor Belfort with the white Valentudo shorts. And, bro, the boy-like smile that came on this man's face has echoed joy into me for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
That's a great Vitor story. I cannot top that.
Now, Chael, I heard a story about you, and this is not insulting at all, but there was a guy that you lost to, was it Matt, who, like 3 times, the guy with the most fights ever? Jeremy Horn, right? And I guess one of your teammates was in an interview. This is like, I read this in a magazine, maybe like 8-9 years ago, that you lost by armbar or triangle to him. You kept losing to him. And somebody said to you in practice, hey, man, why do you keep losing this guy by the same way? And you said, I don't want to be there anymore. Is that true?
Yes, it's a true story, but I actually that was one of the turning points when I went and started to work with the sports psychologist, but it was a very real thing. I was out there in those fights. You could bring Jeremy Horn's ass right now. He'll beat me again. Right? It's like I'll find a way. I whipped him every second of our fight. I would win in rounds against him. I was winning spots again, and then all of a sudden just give him something as a way out. It's a very real thing, Adam. I contend that I'm not the only athlete that's dealt with those blocks. I'll contend, a number of rear naked chokes that you see and guillotines that you see. Look, a guy has just had enough and now finds a way to give his back. You've seen boxing fights. Selden versus Tyson versus Bruno, Tyson versus plenty of guys where there were some popcorn punches, and man, those guys went down and they never got up again. That's very hard to do in MMA. Like, when you're ready to go, this is basically, we advertise this as a battle of skills, but Mayhem will back me up on this. It's largely a battle of wills. It's largely a battle of who wants to be in there longer.
Yeah.
You're the entire time trying to open a door and get your opponent to go, you know what, I've had enough. You want this more than I do. Let's head to the back. You're largely trying to do that. There's this unspoken agreement. I swear to goodness.
You completely described all the wins of my entire career, because, like, I would just drown them. Like, in my head, I'll be like, all right, you know what? This motherfucker's strong. Let me just drown him. Just keep dragging him out to the shore. And eventually, he wants to swim in. And you send them, catch the rear naked, catch the guillotine.
But yeah, you were winning the fights, though. So you're winning, and if you're there 3 more minutes or 5 more minutes, you're going to win this.
Yep.
But
I'm very ashamed of that. This is what I went out and got help for this, Adam. I went out and got help, but one of the steps of the help, if you will, was admitting it. It was like this monster in my closet worrying about fatigue or worrying about damage or worrying about the outcome as opposed to thinking about the performance. And one of the steps that alleviated this was being vocal about it, admitting, here's what my problem, just like an alcoholic. first step to recovery was admitting there was a problem. My big problem was wanting to stay in there. I swear to goodness to this day, and I fought a total of 50 men. I have never won a fight and felt anything other than relief. And a lot of that relief didn't come from getting my hand or getting the double paycheck, the win in the show. A lot of that relief was, thank goodness I didn't screw it up tonight. I didn't flick it. I didn't quit. I didn't find myself in a submission and try to sell it for the crowd. That's a very real thing. I'm not the only one.
What about this theory? What about this theory, Chael? What about this? Okay. You said second round was when you had this mental block. Did you ever consider the fact that since you were a little kid, you had to go hard for about 6-7 minutes?
A lot
of yeah. So don't you think that had an influence that you take that, because you have, during your career, you had like a tremendous intensity about your game the entire fight. Like you'd go, and part of that extreme exertion is there's going to be a recovery lapse until the lactic acid moves out of your muscles, and then so it makes it easier for you to take a way out.
Yep. And Mayhem, I've seen other wrestlers go through this, like really good wrestlers, guys that I looked up to, and they just don't make it in MMA. And a lot of that is, to your point, they never find out how to extend that 6-minute wrestling match into a 15-minute fight. And there's places where you've got to find your spots. If you come out and dump that tank early and you don't get the guy out of there, you got a problem. You're going to have a second round problem like I do. You have to learn how to do 15 minutes when, to your point, you're trained for 10 years on doing 6.
In Japan, the 10 minutes. Sorry, bud.
I seen it with high school wrestlers in college. Like dominant high school wrestlers, that extra 3 minutes or 2 minutes can't. By the way, Antonio McGee Jr. here. Oh, Chael, I didn't tell you. We're having a Bellator press conference during this, by the way.
Let's do it.
We have Darrion.
Are we starting the press conference now?
Darrion Caldwell and Antonio McGee Jr., who are going to fight each other for $1 million in Bellator.
Wow.
For $1 million pretty soon. And Chael's going to call it.
That is very likely. That is very likely. And I'll tell you, so many people believe McKee's going to win that whole thing, take out Pitbull, take out everybody.
Yeah,
I got no problem with that pick. The kid's undefeated. But if you overlook Darrion Caldwell, you are a fool.
How do you say that, Antonio McKee Jr.?
I mean, it is what it is, but my dad's the pioneer and OG of all the wrestling, so, I mean, I ain't really got much to fear in this situation. I don't know. He's tough, you know what I mean? He wouldn't be the first champ I've beaten, so for me, it's just going in there fighting smart. He's definitely not someone to overlook. Chael's completely right on that. I mean, any fighter's not someone to overlook, but at the end of the day, like I told him, I'm knocking him the fuck out. You know what I mean? I don't really care who steps in there with me, but when they step in there, they're gonna have a hand. They're gonna have a handful the entire time. So, for him to be able to deal with what I can put out for 5-minute rounds, it's gonna be some problems. You know what I mean? 3 fights alone, it's gonna be problems.
Antonio, I just like to say thank you for dressing up for the podcast press conference. I really appreciate that. But what, you're calling a first round knockout?
Nah, I'm going to go – it depends because Caldwell likes to move around and play the outside and try to come in with little takedowns. I'm going to give it 2-3. Honestly, I'm running through everybody in the tournament within 3 rounds. I don't think anybody's making it out past the 3rd round.
Now, Antonio, Mayhem said he used to beat you up when you were a baby.
Oh, dude, they used to torture me, bro.
I used to throw that kid in the parking lot, bro. I used to, get out of here. And because he was just a nuisance. Just get the hell out of the gym. We're trying to train for real fights, bro. Don't you see us? Don't you see us, little kid? And now look at this little kid. Oh, my God.
We also have Darrion Caldwell. And I think Chael left. We have NCAA champion right here. Former Bellator champion. Darrion Caldwell is here. Antonio McGee. You know what? I got to say, this fight is I'm looking forward more to this fight than any other fight out there. Maybe
why wouldn't you?
But this fight right here is the fight. This is the most overlooked fight in MMA right now. You got 2 guys in their prime gonna battle. Sure. So all right,
sure. And we both athletic, so it's gonna be a great show.
Athletic.
Who's gonna win the wrestling? Who's gonna win the wrestling battle?
Antonio's
gonna do a wrestling battle.
This ain't wrestling. This is mixed martial arts.
Here's what I see. I feel like AJ he resists.
some problems even on when he's in trouble. Like, so when he's on his back or he's on the bottom, you never know. He's getting problems. So you never know, man. AJ's got some slick wrestling. He got some tricks up his sleeve.
So you're saying that, Darrion, you're an NCAA champion, and you're saying he's going to beat you in wrestling?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying he's got some slick stuff up his sleeve.
Just saying he's got to think about it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm definitely gonna have to take my time, and it's not like I'm gonna be able to go out there and. Again, he's got wrestling background, so.
Okay, so now Antonio McGee, this guy Caldwell, he's gonna be the underdog, but this is the guy that beat Brett Metcalf in college wrestling when he was the underdog. Okay, this guy rises to the occasion. All right, and he's never lost to a black man in his life.
Mayhem.
Oh no.
So
He did not put on a suit jacket.
we got Mayhem is in a suit right now. So this is all right. So are you worried about his single leg? His single leg is on point.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's wrestling, it's MMA. Takedowns win out rounds, you know what I mean? So my dad's the OG of taking somebody down, holding them down, and winning the fights, whooping their ass on top. So
But let's cut the shit. You're not trying to do no takedown.
Of course not.
You're trying to do triangle chokes nowadays, okay? You've completely changed the game. You left your daddy's style in the dust. No more wrestling. All kinds of MMA.
agree. I'm always trying to throw the hands. That's
all right.
That's the
all
fun.
right, Caldwell, before you got on the show, he said he's going to knock you out in the first round. He said he's not worried.
But then he changed his mind to the third round. He said he's going to knock you out in the third round.
He think I'm gassing out. I don't know. He looking a little round over there, like.
Oh!
This quarantine.
I'm so solid. My tattoos is changing low places, player.
No, you're looking round.
That quarantine weight looking real over there, AJ.
Oh!
You looking like the Pillsbury
what are you
Doughboy.
walking
Get this
at?
shit out of here.
Hey, and look, A.J. McKee hadn't left the bed in 6 months. He's grown a beard. Like, wait, is that a face warmer for a coma? Come on, bro. Gotta get back in the gym one day.
All right, now I've seen Darrion came to my comedy show with a hot women. Who gets hotter women, you or Darrion?
I think it's all in the color, bro. I think it's all in the pigmentation.
It depends what color you like. You feel me? They might like a little chocolate. They might like a little caramel. They might like it sweeter. Who knows?
All my girls like vanilla.
Ice, baby.
Hey, once you go black, you don't go back. I'm gonna tell you that.
Oh!
Hey, listen, I've gone black many a time, but I've gone back everywhere.
Now you're like 6'1", Darrion, right?
I'm like 6'3".
6'3", and you fight at 145.
People are smoke up their eyes. Don't believe that bullshit.
What are you walking around at right now?
Right now, I'm like 160, 165.
Nah, F5.
Now, does your father ever give you any tips about doing yoga fire, yoga flame?
The hell is yoga fire, yoga flame?
What are you talking
I ain't
about?
talking to you, A.J. McKee. Talking to him.
bad.
6'3" and 145. That's a Dawson physique.
Yeah, nah, for sure. I like fighting at 145. I feel more filled out, 45 is cool with me.
Now,
Is it hard?
Now,
It is. Nah, not at 45. Nah.
Now, Caldwell, you've lost 3 times in your career, right? You've won many times, lost 3. This kid never lost.
Oh.
Okay, never lost. And you plan on giving him you're fighting for $1 million. All right. What are you gonna do that all his opponents haven't done so far?
I'm gonna beat him again. Like, all right. So I seen AJ. I think it was in Thackerville. He matched up against it was another brother. He was pretty athletic.
What?
Yeah, he was pretty athletic, but he wasn't that athletic for you to have that much trouble.
Wait, you said that he bet? I couldn't hear you over the baby screaming. I couldn't hear you over the baby screaming.
So he said
I couldn't hear you over the baby screaming.
All right, Mayhem. He said he saw him in Oklahoma, matched up against another black guy who wasn't as athletic as him, and he gave him trouble, right?
Oh,
So I feel like I feel like him matched up against another athletic, super athletic guy is is his kryptonite. But
wait, is athletic like urban? Is that what we're saying here?
pretty damn much.
Okay, are you saying it's coming down to skin tone? Because I feel like that's a little bit racist.
No, not necessarily. I think I'm just talking about the extra pep in the step, you know?
All right, so
I think that's the only athletic guy AJ's faced.
now he is very unconventional, Antonio McKee. Caldwell comes from all angles, and it's $1 million right now. $1 million is a lot of money you guys are fighting for.
I need that mill. I need that. I'm not letting this man take that money from me.
Bro,
He's a
you
young
chasing
buck.
6
He's a
O's. I'm
young
chasing
buck.
7.
He's
You
a young
chasing
buck.
6. I got 7 O's to protect, homie.
Oh man,
He's got
He's a
seven.
young buck.
this is hot fire.
Hey, AJ feels like I'm the old wolf on the way down the hill, and he's the young wolf on his way up. But
Nah, I'm just taking all dogs to the pound, man. You, pit bull, all of them. I don't give a fuck.
Oh,
Oh,
oh my god.
oh my God.
Brutal.
This
Hey,
fight,
you know,
Oh, he called you Michael Vick. Okay,
hey, I'm
so-
a wolf, baby. We run through them pounds. We don't do well in captivity.
I mean, dude, this is a guy. He was 130 and 0 in high school wrestling. He was a 4-time New Jersey State champion. He was the NCAA champion. He's fought everybody. He's fought better guys than you, McKee. He has, right?
That's a fact.
it ain't me.
That's a fact.
It ain't me. I can talk about who I train with, who I fought. All that shit don't matter. When we step in that cage, it's him and I. I don't care about the wolf pack. If we singled out, it's him and I, and we gonna tango and make it sweet like mango.
no, but it does matter, and you know it matters, okay? Who in your camp is going to pretend to be Darrion?
Please don't say Marlon, bro.
Nah,
I got 133-0 4-time national champion called Joey Davis, 7-0 in Bellator.
Division
I
2.
got the wrestling. We
Division
had Pico. Like, I've been around wrestling my entire life. I grew up wrestling with Pico, Jeremy, Zaid, Anthony Valencia. Like, I grew up with these wrestlers, and these are all NCAA champs. You know what I mean? This is just the fight life. Like wrestling.
Darrion, respond. Wait, Darrion, respond.
These are just all my young boys. Like, look, you gotta understand, I'm the OG of this shit. So when all the wrestlers transitioning over, like, these are my boys. Like, you know, when it's time to smack them on the ass, I gotta give them a little smacking on the ass, and that's what's gonna happen.
So what? Wait, let me ask
They
a
just
follow-up.
have to get it first.
Darrion. Well, wait, I thought you guys said it's not going to be a wrestling match. I thought it was going to be a street fight. What's up?
Oh, it's gonna be
Tell
some
me what you want to make happen.
Where I want to make it happen? I mean, anywhere. Honestly, it's gonna be a fight where AJ, he likes to throw from a lot of different areas. You know, he's unorthodox like that. You know, so I gotta take in consideration this fight can happen anywhere. You know.
AJ Caldwell
It's
moved,
not-
he moved to Jersey. He's training with Zabit. He's training with Frankie Edgar.
Oh,
It's on.
He's
It's
training with
on.
Eddie Alvarez. He's training with like some of the best guys in the world.
Who cares?
oh.
Who cares?
All right.
I
really
can't
good.
wait. I can't wait for this fight. This is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, you know what I like about this is that you guys are like semi-respectful, like sort of, but you guys are still like getting dirty a little bit. You know what I mean? Ooh, the hype to this fight is not over. This is just the beginning.
Yeah, we gotta make it fun. You know what I mean? We gotta make it fun and entertaining for the fans. At the end of the day, we already know we respect each other. We're gonna go in there and do what we do. I mean, shit, we might as well make it fun for the people.
Now, before
AJ,
you
listen,
take
the
on
next
Darrion-
fight. No, wait, Adam, please, because let me give my young son a damn little bit of lesson on professionality, okay? You see how I dress up for the press conference, okay? I expect you to be this dressed up or more, okay, at the next press conference. I don't want you coming here, laying in fucking bed with a long foreman hat, okay, making us look unprofessional, all right? Here at MMA Roasted, we are a professional podcast.
Indeed.
Before you came on, he said he wears Magnums and you wear Lifestyles. Okay.
That's a damn
That was
lie.
weird. I don't even know how he knew that.
Oh, that's cold-blooded. That's
How does, he know,
cold-blooded.
how does he know that?
I don't know.
AJ.
I don't know.
All right.
You asking me?
Yeah,
I
that's
was
what he
fit to
said.
go
Darrion
rapper
said-
player.
Okay, he said, what was
I
that?
don't even wear gold wrappers, matter of fact. I wore a condom when I lost my virginity. That was it. That shit sucked.
You're not even
I
wearing
am
a
not
condom?
preach.
You
Big fan.
I'm not a safe-sex user.
Listen, man, I'm married, dude. Like,
Yeah, you.
so wrapping it up for me is out of the question.
Okay.
You gotta be smart. Hey, it's 2020 too. You got Corona floating around. You gotta be real smart.
I know. Every time I fuck a chick, I wear an N95 mask.
I can imagine that. I just visualize that shit. Right?
You're welcome for that. You're welcome for that. And these glasses. You know, it's a splash guard. It's a splash guard.
Now, Darrion, they're having a couple fights that you have gotten tired in the 5th round. In the 5th round against Haraguchi, you got a little tired. What are we going to do to make sure you don't get tired?
I got to put in a few extra pumps in my life.
Nah, damn, bro. See, once
couple
we
extra
turn the
strokes.
conversation sexual, then we can't get it back on track. How about
You should have
don't
never.
pump your wife, bro? How about the
couple extra
battle
strokes.
ropes? How about a conditioning circuit? Okay.
No, in all honesty.
Okay.
In all honesty, I do have a good strength and conditioning program here. I'm using a Laverne strength and conditioning coach. I've been working with him for the last 2 camps. So I feel like that's been a huge adjustment for me.
All right. Well, quick. All right. Name like 5 exercises that you got to do during this circuit.
All right. Squat jumps.
Yeah.
Kettlebells.
Kettlebell.
Plyos.
Plyometrics.
Yeah. So with the plyometrics, you got like 2 things. All right. Cool. Yeah. So pull-ups and then mountain climbers.
Bam! You just made a stay-at-home workout for everybody. There you go.
Let's go.
You're welcome. Let's put the Mayhem stamp of approval on that.
Hey, make sure y'all get on that program, man. Stop playing.
We know. Any questions for the 2 guys?
What's your guys, each of you, what is both of your body counts?
Body count?
How many chicks you banged?
That's OD.
Oh. This man is married. Wait, one man is married. The other one is actively fucking every chick raw dog all over Southern California.
Not at all.
So that's a double whammy, all right? Terrible question. Next question.
AJ, I heard a rumor that girls would come into your bed while you were sleeping and try to get you to have sex with them. Is this true?
Bro,
I have had that happen.
That's what I heard.
Bro, I had him over my house. I had him over to my house one time, and every one of the girls there tried to bang him. I was like, I had to throw him out. Before we did it.
That's one.
Yeah.
Now, Darrion, are you going to send hookers to his house before the fight?
Of course I am, because I know he's going to take the bait.
Yeah, I got 5 on it.
I got 5. Shit, I got 10 in there. What's happening?
Let's get some more questions.
Tyler, any questions for the press conference?
Tyler.
I don't even know when the fight is. When's the fight?
Yeah, when is the fight?
They say June 6th, but the thing is, they got to run the quarterfinals before I think they have us fight June. I don't know. They say June 6th, but they canceled everything in May. So this Corona thing kind of really fucking everything up at the moment. But
well stated.
Serious note, what are you guys doing to train right now, or is it just home workouts? And
honestly, these home workouts and video games for me.
Hell yeah.
That and remodeling the house.
There you go.
Now, have you already thought about the $1 million, Darrion? The $1 million, have you already spent it in your head?
No, I ain't spent it in my head. I'm still spending this money for my last fight.
All right. But is your wife saying, hey, when you win, we're going to get this or that?
We want a house, like maybe a house, that's it. But other than that, nah, I feel like right now is a good time to just relax and sit on whatever it is you got,
AJ, have you thought about $1 million?
Man, honestly, I've been thinking, I don't know. I gotta get a Lambo. That's a death.
Bro, your fucking father will not let you have a Lambo, okay? I will not let you have a Lambo. No,
he tried
Lambo
to talk
for
me
you.
out of it. He tried to. It's
I'm
$1 million,
talking out of it
bro.
right now.
It's
$1
$1
million.
million. I need a collector. I need a collectible in my garage. You feel me?
A Lambo? Come on, man. Really?
What color?
Nah, I mean,
what
shit.
color?
Black or red?
Ooh. Oh, man.
Probably
I'm
matte
scared.
black. Matte black with the gold all over it.
Now,
Oh my God.
AJ, real question: did you wrestle in high school?
Yeah.
How'd you do?
I got disqualified my senior year for
Hey,
I was number 3 in state. I was number 3 in state, cut down to the next weight class, and I missed certification by 2 ounces. They said the day before Masters.
Oh,
Yeah,
So they pulled the plug, cutting weight.
I got
That was
busted
it.
with 2 ounces. I got busted with 2 ounces before. I know it's a bummer.
Bro.
So that was my high school career.
No, because I heard like from Bubba Jenkins that like your wrestling was like Division I top level. Like
I mean, I wrestled at Notre Dame with Joey for a year, and then honestly, college and wrestling just wasn't for me. I already knew what I wanted to do as a career. So, I mean, what the hell is a degree gonna help me with in fighting? So I was just like, fuck it. I dropped out. I always wanted a state title ring, so I went to JC, won a state title there. Same college my dad went to, and then I dropped out from there, and then went pro.
yeah,
that was it.
You've been making amazing fighters look really. I mean, it was crazy. Some of your fights was like who'd you knock out in 8 seconds? Was it Georgie?
Georgie. I knocked out Macappa. I knocked out a couple guys.
Oh, I mean that Georgie one was like quick, and that was.
Yeah,
I
I told my dad I wanted Bellator's fastest knockout before that fight. He was like, all right. Shit, let's see it. I was like, I'm about to go get it. But Georgie was trying to play head games. He was trying to get in my head. And, like, I've known Georgie for years. So I told him, I'm like, hey, bro, you just making this worse for yourself. Don't talk about my family. Stop trying to get in my head. Like, you're making it worse. And then sure enough, that shit backfired on his ass.
No, I mean, I really think you two guys are probably the two of the best in the world in any division, in UFC and ONE. I mean, you guys are – I put up you guys against anybody, which is why I'm so excited about this fight. Caldwell, you know, I've been a fan of yours since, you know, while watching you wrestle in college, you doing backflips and Metcalf.
Talking about you all the time, man.
That was awesome. I can't wait for this fight. Honestly, it's
I know you've been talking about this fight since I was in San Diego. I remember.
Yeah, no, this is gonna be.
I remember. Cut you off, like.
I remember.
As a fight fan, I'm a huge fan of both of you guys. I wish you guys were hate each other more. Like, so what's your best yo mama joke towards Caldwell?
I don't like talking about people's mamas. That's OD. You know what I mean?
No. Oh, I got him.
All right. What's your best? Okay. What's one weakness, Darrion, that you see in AJ?
Damn, too late.
All right, AJ.
Come on.
Mayhem.
Bro,
AJ,
come on.
What weakness you see in Caldwell?
I don't know.
Too late.
He got wrist control. He's great wrestling.
Wow, that's
It's
rough.
a fight, man. It's all about the respect, but you know what I mean? I'm just go out there and try to find that opening. That's what it's all about. There's always an opening in the fight, so it's trying to find that opening.
Got it.
Yeah. Well, look, I think this fight is like for the hardcore dudes like Adam. Like Adam is a freaking nerd, MMA encyclopedic nerd. Okay, and that's a good thing. All right. Me. I'm a casual MMA fan. And tell me why I should
Yeah, you're a pioneer of this shit.
Tell me why I should be, as a casual MMA fan, why should I be excited about this match? AJ, you go first.
Cause you got the young GOAT putting his record on the line and about to take the young tourney real quick against former NCAA highly ranked wrestler, classified world champ already. He didn't been places I'm trying to get to, so that's where it's at.
Caldwell, all right.
Young buck.
Caldwell. Now, why do you think that your fight against AJ will be the fight of the year?
Because you got a young, hungry lion on the way up, undefeated, 16-0.
That's the wolf.
No, this is you. This is you. I'm describing you, 16-0, undefeated, who everyone is projecting to win this tournament versus a guy who, like AJ said, who's already been there, who's been at the top, who's already sniffed the belt before. And both guys are undefeated at this weight class, which makes it even better.
And you hungry for that $1 million.
100%. You know, but again, the focus is the focus. You know, the $1 million comes with the wins. You know, and if I'm thinking about that $1 million, it's not gonna happen. Looking past AJ, you know, that $1 million comes at the championship. You know, obviously it's cool to
well said, man.
think about that, but
Mayhem, one time Caldwell won a fight, goes on the top of the cage, does a backflip, kicked out the camera person.
Nice, bro. You know what? I like to see shit like that on World Star or accidental wrestling gifts. You know what I'm saying? Just like accidentally suplex somebody to death. You know, that's just the power of the internet. Where now my brain is just filled with memes, filled with memes, filled with memes.
I'm synonymous with fucked up backflips, man.
Yeah. He also took Joe Warren and launched Joe Warren on his head. One of the greatest complexes ever in the history of the sport. So this is going to be good, man. This is going to be an exciting fight. I can't wait. Both you guys keep playing video games. You seem very hard at work. So wake up, AJ. Is there a girl blowing you right now?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. No, okay.
The dick has been clean this entire year.
What?
I mean, my birthday is next week, so I see what
you haven't had sex in a year?
Not this year.
This year.
Like 3 months, 4 months.
Oh, my God, what a madman. Hey,
yeah, that's a good time.
He pissed.
Listen, I'll send you some.
Wait, hold up. Why are you not having sex?
Fucking remodeling the house, working, just doing shit right now. That's not the focus at the moment.
Are you installing fleshlights in all the walls? That's what I've been doing. I don't know. That's why I asked. So, all right, man. Let me let you get back to beating off in your bed, and I'll send you some chlamydia medicine for your birthday. Hang up on this guy. Hang up on this guy.
All right, thank you guys both. Caldwell, AJ, thanks for coming on. Thank you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Good luck, both you guys. I can't wait for this fight.
That's just the beginning right there. Oh my God, what a damn amazing podcast. Today we had Chael Sonnen and two of the best fighters in the world. I mean, really, you know what? I was about to quit this podcast, and I completely changed my mind.
Are you excited for the fight?
Oh shit! Am I still on?
Tyler?
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
I'm really excited. I love Darrion Caldwell, and A.J.McKee he's phenomenal, dude. So I think it's gonna be fireworks.
You know AJ is really cocky, but he backs it up.
Nah, AJ's not even cocky, bro. This dude is like so good that he deserves to be way more cocky.
Really?
Like he deserves to be way more cocky. And in fact,
maybe not
bro, that's just
confident.
Bro, it's just good raising by his dad because his dad just kept him humble. He did come to my house one time when I was like in party mode, and he completely abstained from anything bad that I was doing. Yeah, God bless him. You know,
so
he's like,
what do you like in this fight?
You know what? I'm gonna go back because I've only seen like 2 of Caldwell's fights, I think. So let me go back through the discography. You know what I'm saying? And just like try to figure it out because we're out of the press conference, right? Press conference over. Yeah. Let me get comfy. Yeah, but Caldwell is like, I've seen some flashes of greatness. I got to go back and look at the losses and see, you know what I mean? Like what he has developed since then and what led him to lose fights in the past.
Well, the first fight, I'll tell you, the first fight he was winning 2 rounds. He was really destroying this guy from Guam. And then he shot a bad lazy double in the third and got caught in the guillotine. And then the other losses were against Haraguchi, who and one was in a ring, and in Japan never fought in a ring before, and that was a close fight. Got kind of tired. Second fight was in a cage, but I think Haraguchi just had his number, but they were both really good fights.
Bro, wait. Just like it was just like I was almost there when you were describing it.
Come on,
like just perfect. What do you mean? Like what did Haraguchi take him down with, or what did he counter with when he got taken down?
Again.
That's what I'm saying. I don't.
Like,
I need to see it too.
It was one of those fights where Caldwell was putting on the pressure and looking busier, like coming in for a double leg and stuff. But Haraguchi was defending and elbowing him on the way in, and he kept getting caught in those positions where he was going for the takedown, but getting stuffed and punched. You know what I'm saying? Or so it was like one of those things. Like, who do you give the round to? The guy trying for the takedown, or the guy effectively blocking and landing punches?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting to see because A.J.McKee, his takedown defense is solid. His kickboxing is really solid. And his ground game is like, you'd be hard pressed to find a guy who doesn't call himself a jiu-jitsu black belt, or does he? You'd be hard pressed to find a better grappler, than A.J.McKee, to be honest. Like, it's a kind of a combination of like strength and technique. I mean, that's kind of the basic thing that it boils down to, but there's something else. There's like a playfulness about his game that allows him to take risks, like when most people would be more conservative. So we'll see what happens. It's kind of a tale of two cities there, where one guy is this guy who's like I don't know. I feel like he's put in the work. That NC State wrestling program is no joke. I came up in high school doing that program, so like I realized that he had that hard work ingrained in him from at least college, right? And it's translated to his MMA career, obviously, because now he's fighting for $1 million.
On a different note, Ween Dog, how are you holding up during this quarantine?
It's good, dude. Today's the day I get to go finally see my girlfriend. Her parents are letting me come over to their house, but they're not letting me go inside their house. So I'm just going to be standing outside and, talking to her through a window or something. I don't know what to, it's not like anything I haven't done before, but, that's my highlight of the entire week.
Now, basically. What kind of porn are you watching during this quarantine?
Mainly mom POV stuff, because POV is my go-to for porn, and mom POV is like this porn company where it's just like this one dude who always bangs like women 40 and above in a hotel room, and he's like releasing all of his full-length videos HD onto Pornhub. So I've been going deep into that, dude. So that's basically my whole, if I had to sum up my entire quarantine experience, it would just be mom POV, and that's it. What's that, Tyler?
That's it? That's all you've been doing?
Playing games, Twitch streaming, League of Legends, Grand Theft Auto 5. That's it, dude.
Yeah, me too.
And Tyler, how are you doing, man?
Dude, I'm chilling, man. I was built for this shit.
Are you having flashbacks of the Marines and being in Iraq?
It's basically the same. It's just like, usually we do you're out all day and then fucking doing nothing at night, and then you have a day off, so you don't do shit. It's just like being there. I'm on day 17 right now, so I'm just going out to the backyard, shooting my bow, smoking weed.
Hell yeah.
Watching porn. Dude, it's a great life.
Bro, this life fucking sucks. What the fuck is wrong with you guys? I'm fucking trapped in a box for 24 hours a day. I already did this, and now I got to do it all over again.
Well, see, okay. And I feel for you there. I'm fortunate enough. I'm in a house, so I have a backyard. I can go outside. I can stay within my property, so it's a little easier for me. I don't know how people are doing it in a fucking apartment.
Well, I've just been taking over public parks and like doing MMA in the public park. I mean, that's basically what I'm doing. I don't care if everyone's scared, you know what I mean, that I'm gonna infect them or get infected. I got to do what I got to do. If I stay inside this box any longer, I'm going to go insane. So I've been training.
That's good. Have you thought about
But on Monday, wait, let me ask everybody. Adam, you first. On Monday, did you feel some type of societal pressure? Because now it's like, what, the third Monday that we've been holed up? Did you feel some type of insanity overtake you? Because I did.
The hard part for me is that, like, I did comedy yesterday at the Laugh Factory, 30 minutes in front of nobody. I was just happy.
How'd it go? Did you kill? Are you a martyr right now?
I was one of those things where, like, I'm used to having nobody in the crowd anyway. It actually was more people there. No, it was one of those things. It was a release, man. The hard part for me is that, even when I do Muay Thai kickboxing 3-4 days a week, and I do comedy at night, I have an outlet, especially in this business where there's so much rejection and so much like shit. So now you're taking away all my outlets.
Yeah, that's true.
thank God we have a Peloton, which is like a game changer because it's an hour or 45-minute, class that you could take.
Is your wife making you do the Peloton? Blink hard.
No,
if she is.
It's not even that. Dude, I get up, I got to watch the baby. My wife works from home, but she works. She's on conference all day. People on the YouTube comments are like, why can't your wife watch the baby? Because she fucking works.
Oh, that's so sexist.
So I got to watch the baby from 8 to 6 and then play bar tab trivia because I'm doing the trivia things from 6 to 8.
Yeah.
And I have like an hour to talk to my wife. And then I try to do the Peloton over there. And it's just like, so I'm busy.
Is that hour talking to your wife the hardest hour of your day?
So many people are like, hey man, this has been great. I've been taking up knitting, or I've been finally finishing my novel or something. I'm like, I've had no free time because normally there's a nanny that watches the kid. And when you watch a 19-month-old, 21-month-old baby, she's taking Play-Doh and eating it, or,
Yeah, you have to be paying attention to her the entire time. You can't just hop on the Peloton and leave her in the room.
She's got thumbtacks, she's juggling and shit. It's like, I got to make sure she doesn't kill herself.
Come on, Vi.
So, right? Daddy.
Make it easy for Daddy.
Thank you.
Hey, Adam, have you went ahead and made one of these yet?
Join my cult? No, I like that, though. It's pretty cool.
Well, a buddy of mine, Eric, reminded me that I could, take my gi, stuff it full of pillows and towels, and now I have a grappling buddy. Yep. So just make sure that you guys going crazy, you martial artists out there, you're making sure to choke your buddy as much as you can.
Well, listen, I love it, Mayhem. That's our podcast today. Anything you guys want to plug?
MayhemMartialArts.com.
And for Weendog, go ahead and go to my Twitch, twitch.tv/Weendog. I've been live streaming these episodes every day that we do them at noon. So go to twitch.tv/Weendog.
Tyler?
Follow me at SmithroBJJ, SMITHEROBJJ. I'm doing some live videos, hanging out in the quarantine. So
once this is over, I'm committed to taking your classes, by the way.
Let's do it.
1,000% taking your class. I can't wait. So are you down for tomorrow? Do a podcast?
Yeah.
Weendog, you down tomorrow?
Yeah.
Sure thing, dude.
Let's do it. All right. Thank you guys so much. Take care.
Take it easy.
Take it easy.